Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for the 12th of July. And I want to start with the S&P here because we're nearly at a top here. So with the S&P, we've been counting wave 3, 4, and we're either going up here for wave 5 top here, or we'll count all of this up here for wave 1 and we'll pull back for wave 2. Either way, we're going to have a top in play here very shortly. So if I just have a look on the hourly chart here, and this will give us a good idea what's dragging the other market around. So from this little wave 4 here, we've gone up as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave. So wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then the last little 5 waves here. So we're expecting a little new high here into around 310, little 5 waves up here. It could extend up higher in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and move up a little bit higher. But either way, we're looking for a bit of a top here. So we can take that as a bit of a catalyst for the European markets in terms of what's going to be dragging them around a little bit. So the DAX has been moving down quite strongly here. So it does appear that we've already got 5 waves down here. It can make another little low here, and we'll look at that in a moment. But in a nutshell, I was looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for 1 and back for 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. The other way to count this too is already having a top in place here is actually having wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then having wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and having 5 as a top in play here. The trouble with that particular count is wave 3 becomes the smallest in the sequence, so it doesn't really, it's not a great fit, but I just thought that I would go over that a little bit here. So the move down here is a little bit tricky to count as well. I've done my sort of best with it, and at this stage here, it looks like it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 and back for 2, then 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for... I have to check on the tick chart what I've done here, but I've got wave 3 here, wave 4 here and wave 5 here. This is also tricky to count out here too. It does look like in some of the markets, like in France and that we can have another little move down through here, so just be mindful of that. We will, if that is the case, we will see a bounce. You'll get well, we're already going at number 3 there, so we're already seeing support come in for that point there. But so I'm just not sure if we've got this low here or this one here. I've done a bit of extensive work on it in terms of the tick chart here on the low. So okay, so I mean, it's just a bit tricky to count. Some of it's okay, like wave 1's cool, and ABC here for wave 2. This makes it a little bit tricky here, this particular sequence here, because it was migrating from being like support to resistance here. It can throw the wave count out a little bit. So there could be errors within all of this here. This counts down nicely here as 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 and 5 here, so that's cool. This doesn't count very nicely as an impulse wave, so I've labelled it wave A here and wave B here, and up here we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and wave 4 pulling back. There's only 3 waves up here so far, so we should see another move up, but just be mindful that after this little 5th wave here, this is where it can consolidate and actually drop from here. So just be careful of 12,350 area through here. It should poke up over that, and then I mean, it's going to come back down anyway, but the point is that if it drops below, say it goes to the 60 here, I'll take it to 56. That's always a good spot. It says 55, but 56. So then really we're left with this 50-60% retracement level here, which is back at the 12,330 here. So what we could say to ourselves here, and that's obviously a nice support there, if this number here becomes the resistance here, then expect the market to take another dive lower from this point here. I mean, in the bigger picture, if I can just bring across the German mid-cap here, the top 50 here, is that this particular move here is an ABC, it's corrective. So we should be going higher from this point. We should be taking this high out here. The DAX has already moved higher than this one here, but still this should move up there as well. So it's sort of, I'm thinking that it should be moving higher. So we'll just keep an eye on that. France is kind of in the same boat as well. If I have a look at France, it's just here. We'd been looking at 5 waves down here for an A wave and a B wave back up 60 odd percent to the 56 number here, and then 5 waves down. So if I count this as wave 1 here and 2 here, then it gets a bit messy in here, but this would be 3, 4, and 5. So it hasn't sort of finished its move down through here just yet either. If this market, we're looking to take this, so we don't need that top there now. So if I move that down to this level here, I'll just keep moving it down until we, if it's corrective, then we can move in. I don't want to short it unless I've got good reason to short it, and I don't have that at the moment because the mid-cap 50 is telling me that the move down is corrective, and we still need to be pushing to the upside with that. And the FTSE is also in the same but different, in that we'd been looking at this here as 5 waves down here, and then looking for the B wave. Didn't quite come back up to where we're looking at it, but that's okay. It doesn't have to do anything that we say it's going to do. But it certainly gave us a correction here, and then gave us, this is actually 5 waves down from this point here. We just need to be a little bit careful here because the wave C is a bit short compared to wave A here, but I've seen that before and that's sort of okay in its own right. But if this low gets breached here, if this low is breached through here, then we'd need to look at this as wave 1 down here, back for 2 here, down for 3, 4 and 5, having a lower move and then coming back up here. But it does seem we're getting a little bit of an impulse wave coming up the top there, so I'll just check on the tick chart there. So from the low here, wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. So we do have an impulse wave to the upside here. I don't think that's quite finished yet. There can be another little move up there, but once that little move up there becomes established, then we can look at, so you find the top there and then you'll find your 50. So it's basically going to be coming back down to this 75-20 area here before moving up. So this has got the potential to move up higher. And now we've got the impulse wave there. That's telling me it's giving me a 5 wave move in the opposite direction of the market, which the market's been coming down in 5. So we're getting 5 here. So it's a change in trend. So we'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And this one here is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here, and then an A wave, a B wave and a C wave that can come back down to between that low there and these little highs here, and that's where the volume will be, and then we can see it moving up from that point. And the next one is the MIB Italy here. So it was doing its own thing here as well, so differently. So it's broken this high here, which has triggered us long here. So just bring the stop to maybe take part profit because of the US markets, and move the stop to break even here as well. So I'll just put that in here. But certainly take something off the table for your efforts there. You can always add back in, but just a little bit unsure about the markets at this stage. So yeah, alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I don't have a clearer pathway for all this, but I've been struggling with the European markets this week. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. You can't be fantastic all the time. All right. Thanks for the support and enjoy the weekend. Cheers.